Once again this year, Marist student-run newspaper, the Marist Circle, is doing an exhibition on students around campus. Here's a teaser video from last year. Take a look. For the record, here is Tara Germano and Goodman Lapota.
Hey guys.
Hey, good to have you guys.
Hey. All good.
Nice to see
Hi,
you.
how's it going?
So, what can you tell us about For the Record?
Yeah, For the Record, it's a pretty interesting project that started a long time ago. That's like 3-4 years ago, I guess. Yeah, it's quite an interesting story. I think freshman year I had a class with this really interesting kid called Walter. He had run for a state legislator and he had won, and he was a student. And when you went to the mail room, you went on to meet him and talk to him. And I thought, oh, it's really interesting that this kid has a very interesting story, but nobody really knows about it. And by then, I was the creative director at the newspaper. I was working with Bernadette Hogan. And we explored the idea, which is, For the Record, to go around campus and find the most interesting and compelling stories and share them in a very unique way that's never been done before. I guess that's, in a snapshot, that's how we have gone to describe it. Yeah,
sure.
like how it started.
Wow, that's incredible.
And then, yeah, I guess we then continued it throughout the years.
And it's just grown since then. It's amazing now. I mean,
Right.
Thanks.
Thank you. I mean, yeah.
so can you tell us both of your roles in For the Record?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so I am obviously part of the curators, and I'm currently the executive director, meaning that I run most of the operations and some of the logistical issues with For the Record. Yep.
And then last year I worked as an editorial associate, so I was just a writer. I did a couple stories. I picked up a few. Bernadette had asked me to work for her in the editorial sector, but now I'm actually the editorial director. So what I do is I have a team of writers, of people who interview these students that we are featuring for the year, and I do a lot of stories myself in the interviews and stuff. And I think that's like my favorite part of doing For the Record, is getting to sit down and actually do those interviews with the kids that we're choosing. So it's really nice to spearhead that.
Yeah, that's so
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So how do people be picked to be For the Record? How do you get chosen? What?
I guess the premise of For the Record was this idea that a lot of times when you go to college, the people that are well known are the people that probably have like the amazing cars, or they get on the D right. It's like, they get on the dean's list, and they like have a 4.0 GPA or the valedictorian and all that. But there are really interesting stories out there that people don't know, that the kids in the underground, like somebody who has started a company, or somebody who had won a prize, or something really interesting that's not like very conventional. So what we do is we actually open it to public nomination. We ask people to nominate students that they know that have an interesting story.
So we had a form come out through our website. We circulated it like on Facebook, through emails to professors, to students, just to try to get our utmost outreach with having students, professors, any faculty, or whoever put in, submit, and we would get all of the feedback. See, they would have the name of the student, a little description of what they do, who they are, and we would look more into it, like really in depth, do some in-depth research on these kids, and say like, wow, like they really do have a great story, and then we just kind of choose them.
Wow, that's amazing.
Cool.
I didn't know it was actually for nomination. That's so cool.
Yeah.
And like we added, like there's a process in that. It's not like we're picking like our friends.
Exactly.
There's a process where we do vetting, which is like different stages of actually nominating the student and saying you are part of this is For the Record. So we do some research, like look online, are there external sources that actually support what people are saying about the student? We would contact friends and family.
What we did was we would have a student, for example, and each writer would be required to go out and find some external sources on the subject. So it's not like the kid could come in and say like, oh, Tara, let me tell you everything of how interesting I am, but it's just kind of one-sided, and maybe they're making it up. Like, you never know. So
some
just
journalism skills.
yeah, exactly. Just to kind of make it a little bit more credible, I think it was really important. We had the writers go out, do some like actual reporting, and figure out what these students are really doing in class. Like, for example, I had one of the students this year, and I talked to his professor for just a class that he had, and he did this one remarkable thing where the professor actually told me like a little story about the kid. They were in class, and the professor was like getting fed up with the class. It was a senior captain class, and they weren't doing the right work. They only had like a week left of the semester, and he felt like they were like falling behind. And the professor got really worked up, and he was like, you guys need to work a little harder. And he spent like 10 minutes yelling at a bunch of like 22-year-olds. Like, how productive is that? So the student that we featured actually, in the back of class, he was like waving his hands, and he was like, Professor, like, can we please use our time more productive here? Like, I understand you're upset, but like, we really need to get this done for this client. It was a computer science course, but he told me that little anecdote, and that really kind of made me know the student a little more that I was interviewing and doing this story about, and I thought that was really interesting, just to kind of be able to get those stories from people all around campus. That kind of just shows not really the epitome of a Marist student, but of a student who goes here that might be doing these remarkable things behind the scenes, and you don't really know like who they are, what they're like. He might be like really uptight in the classroom, and students have a certain perception of him that maybe is completely untrue. So it's interesting to be able to really hone in on those factors.
Yeah, that's great that you get to meet with them and you get to learn about that like firsthand, and
it's really
from a
two
different
sides.
point
You
of
have
view.
the journalism side where you guys are like working to find out their profiles, if they're like real and if they're right.
Of course.
And then you have their side, which is learning about them, which is awesome.
Yeah, and you really get them to open up to you, which is a really special thing, because it's like, I sit down with these kids and they're complete strangers who I've never really even seen them before around campus. There's been so many times where I've sat down and I never have seen the person before, and by the end of the hour, like 45 minutes, an hour we're speaking, like, I feel like I've known them for 10 years. And sometimes the student will tell me, like, honestly, I've never told anyone that before, and I'm just like so humbled by that. And it's a really interesting thing to be able to get that human interaction just like face to face, and to be able to turn it into our own sort of art form is a really special thing. Yeah, for sure.
That's great.
What you do is very amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
So you mentioned earlier you have a website. How can people get on the website? Do you have a Facebook page? Where can people find out more about this?
Sure. So this year's nominations closed for 2018, but I think we received about 250 nominations, and we spent a year from April last year, 2017, to I guess January, vetting, researching the students. And we will open the show the first night of March. That's a campaign that we launched today, which is called the first night of March, when we launched the show. I guess we will have a website ready, which will be For the Record 2018.com, but now currently it's For the Record 2017.com, and you can follow social media. Right now it's this Marist Circle Facebook page. But yeah, it's going to be a very, very interesting year this year, because our creative director, who's not here today, Ken Chanli Huang, will present 2 portraits of the students. Last year we presented 1 portrait.
Yeah, so each student is going to be photographed in a studio. It's kind of a uniform photo. Every student has like a studio photo, and then Ken went out to photograph them in their element. Sort like per se, if the student like spends a lot of his time in Hancock, like we'll take a picture of him where he spends most of his time and where he produces this work, and I think that was really interesting to see.
I actually saw Ken earlier today.
He's working really hard. We just saw him before this.
Really working.
Because last year we had a photographer that was an external. This is more student created, and that the entire production of the team is students, and I think that's what's awesome. Exciting and jammed about this is For the Record.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow, that's great.
That's super cool. And when is it, the exhibition?
This is going to be 1st of March, and we will open it we're anticipating 2 weeks, but we will deliver it in 3 forms, and that is the gallery, show, and then we'll do the website, and then they'll have a book. So if you don't make it for the show, for students abroad or in Italy, they'll have it online. And if you don't make it for the other 2 ones, you can pick up the book when you come visit campus for alumni. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. And where exactly is, on March 1st, where is the exhibition?
Oh, yeah, so we're going to be, because this is a celebration of students, and it's going to be the student center. That is tentatively, if anything changes, we'll let them know. You're most likely going to be student center, because these stories are really about the students and the students that, like I said, like we don't all know about, and should be interesting.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this.
Right,
this is going to be great. I mean, this sounds amazing.
Yeah.
You clearly are both, and I'm sure your whole team, very invested in this. You seem like this is a big thing to you.
Right. We live and breathe for the record.
Right.
For sure.
We try.
Oh, man.
It's become really important to the both of us and to Ken too. I mean, it's just like, all these students are kind of they're living lives just like ours. Like it's not like they're any higher than us, or we're not putting them on any sort of pedestal or anything. It's just kind of to be able to really like get to know your students around you and to get to know your peers. And I think that's really important because a lot of college students, especially at a small school, are sort of disconnected from one another, and everyone's kind of going about their day, doing their own thing all the time, and no one really like cares about anyone else. And I think this project really makes other students realize, like, wow, like this student who sits next to me in this one class, like maybe they're going through this crazy thing, or if they've been through so much or done something really inspiring. And our mission here is to inspire our other students.
Yep.
It's super cool that you guys give a voice to people that like you might see around campus. Like, I like know who you are, but I don't know you. But it's cool.
Exactly.
Yeah. Gives a bigger connection more to the Marist family, definitely.
Right.
Like you can really feel it.
Yep.
Oh, that's great. Well, that's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you so much to Tara and Goodman for coming on.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
It's great to have you.
Yeah.
And like they said, they have a website and a Facebook page if you want to see more, if you want to learn more information. And you can see our show on Marist Movies and on our YouTube page, MCTV HD. Also, don't forget to like us on Facebook, and have a great night.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, thanks a lot.
For Studio A, I'm Juliana Zattering.
And I'm Ben Ward. Have a nice night.